Hello, you're here watching this video, no doubt, just because you want to see what I think is better, the Tesla Model X or the Tesla Model S. Now, I hear you say, but Dan, you're biased, you've got a Model X. Well, I have got a Model X, but that's because I chose it over Model S for a few reasons, but most certainly I am not biased towards the X in any other way that it suits me better. I, for a long time, was considering buying a Model S. It's a beautiful car. I would recommend it to anyone, especially suited to kind of a saloon type car and not wanting a family car. But ultimately, after much deliberation, I picked a Tesla Model X. I drove both for quite some time with test drives and kind of courtesy loans from Tesla to make the comparison. And ultimately I plumped for Model X, and really I've just got to say the ultimate conclusion is the Tesla Model X is pretty much better in every way, unless you're in specific circumstances, but I'll get to that in a minute. Now recently, after having this Model X for 3 or 4 months, it went into service centre, and basically that they gave me a Model S loaner for a week. You probably, if you've seen a previous video of mine, you'll know that. And I got it to drive for Easter weekend and a bit longer, so nearly a week. And after obviously living with my Model X for 3 or 4 months and going back into a Model S for a week, it was immediately apparent that the X is way better for us. My wife was moaning about various aspects of the Model X, and my kids just wanted Megatron back. They preferred the Model X too. Now, point of this video here is obviously telling you why I think the Model X is better. Now, obviously I'm thinking about a like-for-like comparison, a kind of 75 kilowatt hour battery on the Model S versus the 75DX. Saying back, assuming all the kind of normal specification features are the same, you've just got to come down to some little things that basically result in the X being much better for everyday living. So we'll put aside all the obvious details, we'll assume kind of the same spec in each car, and they all have the kind of standard features of same interior, same functionality, EAB Photo Pilot if you buy that. Obviously you've got smart air suspension, all of these new versions, etc. It's the little things that make the difference. So what was the first thing? Let's go inside, and the obvious first thing that you get used to is you get in the car, you put your foot on the brake, and the doors close. Lovely. Door controls as well. This, being able to open the door, close the door, open the Falcon wing door, open the passenger door. Basically, being able to have powered doors that you can control are absolutely brilliant for a family driver. Okay, as soon as I got in the Model S, I put my foot on the brake, nothing happened, and oh my god, I had to actually lean over and pull the door closed. It was too much work for me. No, having the luxury of just pulling the tab, door opening, pressing the foot pedal, door closing. Proper first world problems, but I tell you what, you get used to it, and it makes the S feel old when you get into it. What other little things? Yes, the obvious thing, the massive windscreen keeps going and going and going and going right above your head. There we go. It's all the way down. This just makes the X feel so much more spacious than the S. Now obviously it's a bigger car, yes, of course, but when you're driving it, it's just a much more luxurious feel. If I make the comparison, this is the X, this is the view. It obviously got up, down. This is how spacious it seems. Now, I don't have an S with me, but it's pretty much equivalent to my Merc estate over there. I'll leave it like this. I'll pop one over to the Merc, get in and restart it, and you'll see how much smaller the windscreen view is. So, 1 second. Ta-da! As if by magic, we are in the Merc estate, and pretty much this is the same kind of windscreen size and kind of viewing angle that you get in the Model S, and you can see, it all fits in top to bottom, that's your view, and then you just have ceiling, and it just makes everything so much more closed in, cramped, and kind of yeah, smaller feeling basically. What I'll do is I'll leave the Merc. Oh my god, I have to manually open and push. I can't. Oh, too much hard work. And obviously it's low, very much like this. Oh, the door closed on me. Oh, too much hard work. Looks so difficult to get out. You don't face that problem with the Model X at all. So let's go back. In we get. And again, look at this comparison. Massive. You get used to it quickly, but I tell you now, you miss it as soon as you lose it. So that's the second thing. The Model X, just spacious, wonderful driving view. And then the third thing, the driving position. Now it's a bigger, higher car, and the higher seating position just gives you this kind of superior view of the road. Especially if you put it in very high suspension mode. I don't really do that often unless I'm kind of, you know, on kind of lanes, etc. But ultimately, this viewing position is pretty damn brilliant. So that's the third thing. Fourth thing, what was it? Yes, this became immediately apparent with the kids. In fact, I'd almost go to say it's a bit of a design flaw with the Model S. If you have kids, the seats, this is a 6-seat variant, the seats are wide enough to take their child seats, and look, you can still have the seat buckle, the female connector, you can plug into that, no problem, not in the way. Now in the Model S, we found these seats covered the seatbelt connector, meaning you couldn't actually plug the kids in once they were in the seats. But of course they had to be in the seats. So endless number of times leaning over the car, you know, fitting in a small doorway, and actually then having to pull the child seat out from the seat with the child in, contort your hand around and get underneath down there. Oh, it was just a bloody nightmare. I think why they did this is because the kind of, it's not a narrow car, it's a wide car, the Model S, but they tried to put like 3 full size kind of full width seats for 3 adults. And so what they've done, they've made the centre seat slightly wider in the Model X, in the Model S, sorry, and the 2 normal seats they made slightly narrower, basically all equal. And because of that, they've made the seats too narrow for these kind of typical car seats, and it's just a horrible experience putting your kids in the Model S. Now, I nearly considered the Model S as a family car because, you know, the boot space is big, plenty of space for a family. In fact, probably bigger boot and more space than the Merc estate I've got. But I'm so glad I didn't, after having it for a week with my kids at Easter. Just couldn't get those seatbelts in, and it became to a point of a joke where every time we put the kids in we were swearing, saying we want our X back. So that was the 4th major thing that we got to notice about having a Model S, compared to a Model X that we got used to. So let's close them all down. Oh, something's in the way, or I don't know. There we go, sorry, I don't know what's going on there. The next thing. Ooh. I think it thinks I was in the way. Let's close it in a second. Now, the next thing on the Model X, the bigger front. There you go. Takes the stroller or wheelchair. Model S didn't do that. We had to make space in the boot for, or the trunk if you're American, make space for this. And then we obviously had to replace the items from the back into the front, but the front is just not as big. So much more useful space in the X, the front, bigger, just more practical, took a lot more. So the space basically of the Model X and the storage practicalities of the X just make it that much better than the Model S. What am I doing? Apologies, bear with me, be back with you in a second. Okay, sorry, back with you again. So there you go. They're the major points that I notice as a difference between the Model X and the Model S, and living with them for some extended periods. And basically, this is why the Model X, when you get used to real life usage, is just superior to the Model S. If you're ever thinking about choosing between the two, obviously they're both fantastic cars. You will not regret getting a Tesla Model S or Model X. Okay, so that's the first thing. Secondly, the only time I would recommend a Model S is if maybe you're a single guy, I don't know, you're a couple but you don't have children, you don't need that kind of extra space and practicality, then okay, it is sporty, it's a slightly better drive, it's lower, etc., and probably it's just a slightly better looking car to some people, then yeah, maybe the Model S is the preferred choice. But in every other circumstance, the Model X is the one to go for. You will not regret it. I can tell you, after having the Model S for a week and living with the Model X for 3 months prior to that, I'm so happy I chose the Model X. You know, I couldn't wait to get it back. So there you go. Hopefully that was useful. Choose a Model X every time. Obviously the gubbins that the options and the features, etc., then obviously they're just the kind of standard things that you can choose between the two cars. But ultimately, you know, if you're choosing between the two, you will not regret going for the Model X. Okay, hope that was useful. If it was and you like the video, please like the video, and don't forget, if you did find it useful and you are thinking about buying a Model S or a Model X, which of course you should buy the Model X as we've just learned, please feel free to use the referral code to get free supercharging for life, and the first person to use it will also get $500 credit on Tesla accessories or servicing. So there you go, the Model X, beautiful car, better than the Model S in pretty much every way, except for the minor circumstances that I've said. You might be better going for the Model S for appearance or sporty looks. Sorry to repeat myself, but basic message is Model X for the win. Bye.